Hey guys, Mika here, and I'm excited to bring you a first timer here in the Ukulele Friend showroom or studio. This is an ukulele that we haven't done in the past before, so this will be like the first time revealing a new instrument or like a new instrument in terms of the stuff that we sound sample here. So this is a custom tenor size Little River ukulele, and the luthier who created this awesome instrument is his name is Dave Sigmund. And this ukulele not only sounds really nice, and it really caught me by surprise because whenever you play a new instrument, you're just like, oh, I wonder what's this gonna be like. You tune it up and you're like, whoa, it has so much warmth. Whoa, okay, this is gonna be really good. Yeah, so me getting to learn about this instrument, it's a really cool piece, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So this is a tenor size instrument. This has a really nice, striking, and very eye appealing sinker redwood top. Nice dark streaks here on the face, and then you have a nice mixture of that orange, kind of like that dirt brown, dark red kind of color brown color of the wood, which is what you would expect from sinker redwood. So really, really nice. And then here on the sides and back, we have curly claro walnut wood, beautifully book matched. We have nice streaks here on the back, really nice here on the sides, and it's accented and paired very nicely with, I like to think this is pretty rare, but this is more, we call it white koa because it's of how kind of bright it is. Usually we have like blonde koa, but blonde koa even has more of an orange hue to it versus this has that kind of whiter hue to it. So this is Maui koa that's used here as the binding, and Maui koa has that rare white koa. So this is pretty cool using that kind of binding. It almost looks like maple, but it is indeed Hawaiian koa, Maui Hawaiian koa here along the front and the back of the binding of this instrument. Really, really nice, and it just pairs really nicely with the claro walnut and then even that dark sinker redwood here on the front. This rosette is a nice, very striking blue recon stone, and then even here these stars is gold mother of pearl, even the little planets here and the stars around the rosette. Then we have a ebony bridge, ebony fretboard, and then here on the headstock there's a lot of details, so I'll try my best to go one by one. But first of all, beautiful headstock, nice, really stands out blue recon stone, and then here with the planets and the stars, those are all also gold mother of pearl. Now the theme of this instrument, it revolves around the story of the little prince, where this boy goes ahead and travels to other planets and in search of things like love, friendship, and those kind of things. I personally never read the story, but pretty much this is the theme that this instrument is trying to encapsulate. The little prince, you can see he's right here standing on top of bird's eye maple. I'm assuming this he's standing up on the planet looking out into outer space. And then these other planets right here, that's also the bird's eye maple. And then even the other inlay here, we have mother of pearl, and then we also have gold mother of pearl, even the two little doggies down here at the bottom of the fretboard. And then on the side, we have a darker set of curly koa, also Maui set of koa, curly koa, on the binding here around the fretboard, and then even around the headstock. Now, you might have been noticing, Mika, there's something about that headstock that doesn't look like a traditional headstock. Well, you're correct, because this headstock does not have any of the tuners or the tuners sticking out of the headstock, which is super, super common. It's very rare that you're going to come across an instrument where you just have a plain face like this with no of the gears sticking out, and then you have the strings attached to it. Because if you notice over here, it has a sneaky little backdoor entrance where the strings are fed through the bottom of the headstock, and then it pops back out here on the back of the headstock, and then it goes into its respective tuners right here. And then it's tuned with the Goto Stealth Black tuners. Usually the Stealth tuners have the really small footprint, but this has the bigger buttons, so you have an easier time grabbing it and tuning it. Gun metallic, so it's really cool because when you look at it from the front, maybe this is just me, but when I look at it from the front, that gun metallic or that silverness of it kind of matches with the theme of looking to outer space and just seeing all of these kind of bright lights and just different colors in the sky. Yeah, maybe that's just me, but I like the theme and aesthetics of the gunmetallic tuners, Goto tuners, in the background of the faceplate. Again, there's no footprint of any tuners being on this until you take a look at the back, and you can see how the strings are over here, and it's fed through, and then it goes individually into the headstock. So by doing that, you have an uninterrupted, unphased, pretty much headstock just in one piece, and nothing kind of sticking it away from strings to the tuners itself. So really awesome stuff. Paying attention to little details. We have even a gold mother, a pearl star right here on the heel of the instrument, as well as, I think I pointed this out earlier, but here on the fretboards too, or sorry, on the bridge right here. This instrument also has a side port, so you get a accurate representation of what the instrument would sound like is if you were standing or sitting in front of the instrument. You get to now, when you're strumming and picking or playing your instrument, you get to hear that sound come straight to your face. So also, side ports allow the instrument to breathe. It has another way for the sound to escape the instrument, because if this wasn't here and this was plugged up, the sound when you're strumming or picking would go directly into the sound hole, reverberate, spits back out. Only here, by there being another hole in the instrument, you can have that instrument breathe because there's another escape route for the sound to come out. But thankfully, that escape route is your face and where your ears are, and then you can hear the instrument in its truer form, per se. Okay, so that's going over the aesthetics of this instrument. Again, beautiful theme, beautiful background story with this instrument. Now the sound, again, I picked this instrument up and I was just like, wow, like if you play enough ukuleles, and I'm just so privileged to have been able to play so many great ukuleles out there. Sometimes you can just tell how good an ukulele is by just picking it up, making sure it's in tune, taking a simple C chord and just seeing how it responds to you. And wow, the first thought that came to my mind is like, wow, it's so warm. It's, oh my gosh, and it's so clean, and like, wow. I mean, that's really, it's just wow. It's such a clean instrument, and I've never played the Little River custom instruments before. It's the first time I ever played it. Wow, what a first impression this has made on me. I played a lot of fantastic instruments out there, customs and then regular not custom instruments, and this really has blown me away and making a really awesome first impression on me, and me, I think very highly of this instrument. If with all the ukuleles that I played, let's just listen to that. And the sustain is just trying to shake the sound out of the instrument because it just keeps coming, just keeps pouring out. It's an instrument that just, it gives a lot. The thing is, you don't have to put that much effort when you play this instrument. It responds extremely well. So I can play a little, I don't have to play hard, but the instrument just gives back so much in terms of beautiful tone, beautiful sound. I mean, listen to the note separation. So what I mean by note separation, if I go ahead and hold a chord, let's say this F chord, 5, 5, 5, 8, and I go ahead and just pluck the strings individually, just one after the other, you can hear each note very clearly. Nothing gets muddy over each other. Nothing gets kind of nothing gets kind of overpowered by, by one another. These bass strings, you would think they would overpower the higher tension or the higher pitch strings, but everything is just so balanced. So clean, this B flat chord. Extremely clean, C7, and then F. Extremely clean. And it's so clean when I'm picking up on the 7th fret, 10th fret, 12, 15. That's how clean that is. Instrument can do it all, really. And I'll get into strumming later on when I do my sound sample, but man, it's an incredible instrument. This is Another incredible thing about this instrument, and one of the things that I look for in a really in a really good instrument, is the playability of the instrument. So for me, I look for the trifecta in terms of like what I look for in a good instrument. I look for, does it sound good? Does it look good? And also, does it play well? Or meaning, what's the playability? Like if I go ahead and play a song, is my fingers sore afterwards? If I play for 30 minutes, is my fingers sore afterwards? If I play a bar chord, is my fingers sore afterwards, right? Because at the end of the day, you can have the nicest sounding instrument, you can have the most beautiful piece of art, or beautiful, just the most beautiful looking instrument, but if you pick it up and play it and you have to squeeze the living life out of the fretboard just to make a bar chord, you're probably not going to be inclined to want to play it. And that's sad, because when we buy an ukulele, we want to go ahead and play it and make good music and be happy, right? So when I play this instrument, it's just so easy to play. You know, if I play a bar chord, and bar chords are one of the trickiest things for all of us to do, I don't have to press that hard to get a nice clean sound. I'm not really pressing that hard, which is really nice, because it makes me feel like I can play this for an hour or 2 hours. Or if I had to go bring this ukulele to a gig and I have to go play with someone for 2.5 hours, I think I'll be okay at the end of it on the other side. And that's really important, because when you have a great instrument, you have a beautiful instrument, you have a great sounding instrument, you want to make sure that you're able to play it for as long as you want. When you go and sit down on your couch, you go sit down outside, maybe on your bed, you want to just be able to play it as long as you want without that barrier. Oh, my hands are sore, I have to go take a break, come back to it, and stuff like that. So the action is really low. What I mean by the action is how high is the strings above the fretboard, because the higher the strings are above the fretboards, the more you have to press on each individual string. Or if you're holding multiple strings like a bar chord, you're gonna have to press harder, you know, when the action is higher, especially when you go away from the nut over here and you get higher by the 10, 12 frets, you're gonna have to especially push down harder. But this instrument is set up perfectly, in my opinion. It's set up to in a manner where it's really low. I mean, I don't have to press hard, but it's also not buzzing. It's also, because that's kind of some of the downsides. When your action is too low, you might run the risk of buzzing. You might just you lose volume from those kind of things. But with this, it's just the perfect height of it being really easy to play. But again, you still get that nice volume. It's still very responsive, even though you have a low action, which is just awesome, because if the action was higher, it would be even louder. But yeah, so I can play all of these bar chords, I can make these complicated chords, I don't have to press down that hard. And to me, that's a big plus, because when I hear a nice sounding ukulele, I'm just going to want to play it for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and I don't want something as, it's hands are sore, to stop me from being able to play this instrument. So this is really awesome. Yeah, wow. And then to top that off, it also has a radius fretboard. Yeah, so radius fretboard is pretty much, rather than having a flat fretboard where, like, if I were to make a bar chord, I would have to like literally make my fingers straight to have proper contact with all of the strings. I can go ahead now and do this because the fretboard is angled like that. So if I take that, now a bar chord is like this versus a bar chord is like that. So it might not seem like that big of a difference, but all players will know that if you can get away with making a bar chord like this versus a bar chord like that, it just makes a world of difference to me. So when I make my bar chord, you can see that curvature versus it being completely straight. So it adds to the playability of this instrument. So again, fantastic instrument. So excited for this to be here, and I'm able to have the privilege to share this wonderful instrument with you folks, and now I get to do a sound sample of it. So let's get right into it. Here is the custom Little River tenor ukulele. All right, here we go. easy to play. It just responds so well. Just move and glide around the fretboard. It's really awesome. So here's a quick little strumming. Here we go.